وحيا من بعد هون إن أراد أن قال كن فهو نور وحيا من بعد هون إن أراد أن قال كن فهو
Unit 2. Against the Odds. Pages 20 and 21. 1. Listen and discuss.
Beware of falling babies. One spring day in 1937, the lives of a street sweeper named Joseph Figlock and a 1-year-old baby were brought together in a most unusual way. As Figlock was walking down a Chicago street, a baby fell from a 4th-story window and landed on him. Fortunately, Figlock broke the fall and the baby was not injured. A year later, while passing by that same building, the same baby fell out of the same window and landed on Mr. Figlock. Once again, both the baby and Mr. Figlock escaped unharmed.
The fatal kimono. One of the most famous kimonos in Japanese history is one that, in the 17th century, was owned successively by 3 teenage girls. Each time one of the girls inherited the kimono, she would die before she had the chance to wear it. The kimono was believed to be so harmful that in 1657, a Japanese official decided to burn it in order to destroy the kimono forever. As the kimono burned, a wind blew the flame and spread the fire, which quickly burned out of control. Eventually, this fire spread through most of Tokyo, destroying 300 public places, 500 palaces, 9,000 shops, 61 bridges, and killing 100,000 people.
Struck by lightning. In 1971, a truck driver named Edwin Robinson was in a road accident. The head injury he suffered left him blind and deaf. Nearly 10 years later, on June 6, 1980, while looking for his pet chicken during a thunderstorm, he was struck by lightning. Robinson later recalled that it felt as if somebody had cracked a whip over my head. He was hit so hard that he was unconscious for 20 minutes. After regaining consciousness, he suddenly realized that he could see and hear again. And to make the story even more incredible, after decades of being bald, several weeks later, the delighted Robinson started to grow hair again.
Double Trouble. On July 28, 1900, King Umberto I of Italy was seated in a small restaurant when the owner came to take his order. The king and his advisor were astounded. The man looked identical to the king. After taking a few minutes to appreciate their striking resemblance, the men began talking and found a number of other odd similarities. Both men were named Umberto, both were born on the same day in the same city, and both were married to a woman named Margarita. The following day, the king was informed that the restaurant owner had been killed that morning in a mysterious shooting accident. Minutes after hearing this news, while climbing into his carriage, the king was assassinated.
Page 24. 4. Conversation.
Fad? Fad?
Yes? Hey, aren't you...
Ahmed, Abdullah's brother. From Jeddah, from back home.
I knew you looked familiar, but I couldn't place your face. What are you doing here?
I'm going to school here.
No way. That's incredible. Abdullah never mentioned that you were going to college in Beirut.
I didn't know either until a couple of months ago. I applied, but I was put on the waiting list. It was looking iffy there for a while, but I got a break in July. A space opened up. I was so happy that I was on cloud 9 for weeks.
I can't get over this. What are the chances? I hope we'll see each other around campus. Though I don't know if we'll run into each other that often. I'll be spending most of my time on the North Campus. That's where most of my classes will be.
Why? What are you studying?
Pre-law.
No way! I'm studying pre-law too.
Okay, now you're freaking me out.
This is amazing. What dorm are you in? Wait, don't tell me. I bet you're in Fares Hall.
No, Habib Hall.
Whew, I'm almost glad. I don't think I could have handled another coincidence.
Page 25. 5. Listening. Listen to the story about identical twins that were separated at birth. Then list the similarities between the twins.
Alicia Smith and Jenna Greer are identical twins who, at birth, were orphaned and adopted by different families. Incredibly, they grew up just 25 kilometers apart from one another, with each believing that she was an only child. Some would say that the story of their recent accidental reunion was coincidence. Some would say it was meant to be. Upon graduating from high school, each of the girls chose to study psychology at universities only 2 kilometers apart. While attending university, Jenna kept noticing that strangers would wave and say hello to her. Meanwhile, Alicia's friends complained that she sometimes didn't wave back at them when they saw her on the street. Listen to the young women tell the story of how they discovered one another.
A friend of Jenna's came to a study meeting at our dorm when I was 20. She was shocked by how much I looked like a friend of hers. Of course, that friend was Jenna. She kept telling me that I had to meet this friend. She showed me a picture of Jenna and gave me her email address.
After exchanging a couple of emails and talking to our parents, we discovered that we were sisters, so we made plans to meet.
The first meeting was really emotional. I thought my heart was going to thump out of my chest. It was strange seeing my face on someone else's body. And as soon as we started talking, we both noticed how similar our accents and mannerisms were.
As we got to know each other, we found out that we'd lived lives that were, in many ways, incredibly similar. It's uncanny how much we have in common. Both of us have been painting since we were 5. We both liked horses. We both planned to study teaching. And we had both volunteered at the Community Support Center.
But I think the strangest thing of all is that we even have the same recurring dream. One time when Jenna and I were talking, she described the same dream that I've had since I was a child. I was so freaked out that I just dropped the phone.
I really believe that we are meant to be together. I think it was supposed to happen now, not when we're older or when we were younger and wouldn't have understood. This way, we can enjoy each other for the rest of our lives.
Page 25. 6. Pronunciation. Sometimes consonant sounds are left out in casual speech. For example, when a word with a final T is followed by a word that begins with another consonant sound, the T is often left out. Listen and practice.
1. They are identical twins who, at birth, were adopted by different families. 2. The first meeting was emotional. 3. I thought my heart was going to thump out of my chest. 4. I just dropped the phone. 5. The strangest thing of all is that we even have the same recurring dream.
Pages 26 and 27. 8. Reading. Survival against the odds. Beating the odds is always a great feeling. Just ask anyone who has been accepted to a selective college or unexpectedly won an athletic event. But beating the odds is never quite as exhilarating an experience as when the odds are against your survival. Tammy Oldham Ashcraft knows this feeling. At the age of 23, while she was sailing the South Pacific, Ashcraft was caught in a violent hurricane. The 50-foot, 15-meter waves overturned her boat. Ashcraft, who was below deck, was knocked unconscious. When she awoke 27 hours later, the boat had turned right side up again, but the storm had been so violent that the sails were destroyed, the motor was dead, and the radio was lost. Only the rudder, which steers the ship, was intact. Ashcraft was badly injured and disoriented. Determined to survive, Ashcraft created a sail from scraps of material and charted a path to Hawaii, which was 1,500 miles, 2,400 kilometers away. Traveling only 2 miles an hour, Ashcraft reached her destination 41 days later. Having lost 40 pounds, 18 kilograms, during her ordeal, Ashcraft was thin and haggard when she arrived. However, she was happy and grateful to have beaten the odds. Ashcraft, who still sails, eventually told her tale of survival in a book called Red Sky in Morning. Another such tale of survival against the odds can be told by Eric Lamarck, a hockey player who played with the French national Olympic team during the 1994 Olympics. One day in February 2004, Lamarck set out for a day of snowboarding in California's Sierra Nevada mountains. But by the end of the day, Lamarck found himself in a life-or-death situation. While looking for a good place to snowboard, Lamarck lost his way and ended up in the wilderness at the back of the mountain. Lamarck, who had expected to just be out for a couple of hours, had no food, very few supplies, and his cell phone battery was dead. All he had was a seemingly useless pocket radio. Once he realized he was lost, he decided to keep moving. Unfortunately, he chose the wrong direction, and over the next few days moved farther and farther away from safety and rescue. Knowing that eating snow lowers body temperature, Lamarck ate only tree bark and pine seeds. After a few days, Lamarck had an idea that may have saved his life. He turned the pocket radio into a kind of compass. He noticed that whenever he pointed the radio in a certain direction, the reception for a local radio station grew stronger. Using this radio reception as a guide, Lamarck switched direction and started walking towards safety and ultimately rescue. For days, Lamarck struggled through hunger, freezing temperatures, and 12-foot, 4-meter deep snow. By the 8th day, Lamarck was so weak and his legs were so frostbitten that he could no longer walk or even stand. He was in such bad condition that he began hallucinating that his situation was just a video game. He recalls thinking, "The game is over. Let's reset it. I give up." Lamarck was at the point of exhaustion and death when he was found by rescuers in a helicopter. Although he lost his legs to frostbite, Lamarck's survival experience left him with more of an appetite for life than ever before. After being fitted with artificial limbs, he vowed to go snowboarding again. Only in the future, he plans to be much better prepared. Occasionally, some owe their survival not to struggle, but to nature. Take the startling case of Mitsutaka Uchikoshi. One ice-cold October day in 2006, Uchikoshi had been with a group on a mountain in western Japan. After wandering off into a field on his own, Uchikoshi tripped, hit his head, and was knocked unconscious. As Uchikoshi remembers, "I was in a field, and I felt very comfortable. That's my last memory." He remained unconscious in almost freezing temperatures without food or water for more than 3 weeks. When he was found in the freezing field 24 days after his fall, he did not seem to be breathing and had no detectable pulse. His body temperature was nearly 30 degrees below normal, and his organs had nearly shut down. Doctors assumed he was dead. Yet something incredible happened while he was at Kobe City General Hospital. He woke up. Even more incredibly, Uchikoshi, who was treated for severe hypothermia and blood loss, made a full recovery. Doctors believe that Uchikoshi's body went into a state similar to hibernation. In hibernation, the body temperature of an animal is lowered, and its breathing and heart rate slow down. Hibernation reduces the need for food and protects animals from damage to the brain and other organs. Stories like these remind us that even when we are in a situation that seems impossible, we should never give up hope. After all, there is always a chance that you will succeed against the odds.
Page 28. 10. Writing.
Vision 2030. Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is blessed with an abundance of untapped natural resources and growth opportunities. Its real wealth, however, lies in the abilities and potential of the nation's society. Saudi Arabia is an exceptional nation due to its Islamic faith, national identity, culture, and heritage. A vibrant society will be the foundation of Saudi Arabia's 2030 vision, a society whose members enjoy a fulfilling and secure life in an attractive, sustainable environment, and are empowered by social and healthcare systems that ensure their physical, psychological, and social well-being. The Saudi society is defined by its adherence to Islamic values and its family orientation. It is essential, therefore, to support and empower families so that they can develop their children's talents and character and have an active role in their education. The Saudi nation cherishes the honor bestowed upon the kingdom to welcome and serve an increasing number of pilgrims and visitors every year. For this reason, plans have been made for a further expansion of the 2 holy mosques and the upgrading of services in order to accommodate 15 million visitors by 2020. Culture and entertainment are an integral part of a fulfilling life. To this effect, projects will be launched to establish libraries, galleries, and museums and provide different types of entertainment. A thriving economy offers equal opportunities for all citizens through an updated, high-quality educational system aligned with the employment needs of a dynamic market. Access to economic and employment opportunities will be available for entrepreneurs, small and large enterprises. The kingdom's diversified economy and streamlined business services will attract new talent and investments. Saudi Arabia's strategic position will make it the logistical hub connecting Europe, Africa, and Asia. Investment capabilities will be maximized through the ongoing privatization of state-owned assets and agencies. New sectors will enrich national economy. Telecommunications and information technology, including high-speed broadband, will be developed in and around cities and rural areas. An effective, transparent, responsible, accountable, enabling, and high-performing government is a fundamental prerequisite for an ambitious nation. In view of this, all the necessary steps will be taken to ensure that relevant services and regulations are in place,
to foster the ongoing growth and development of the private and nonprofit sectors. Our goals and commitments include programs that will contribute to the effective restructuring of government agencies, fiscal management, regulations, and performance management programs.
وحياة من بعدهن إن أراد أن قال كن فهو نور وحياة من بعدهن إن أراد أن قال كن فهو